Talk now?
No, we're okay. we did leave a little at the beginning of the last one. I liked some of those conversations. We were swearing already because, well, the thing is, we have a scooter.
Alcohol.
We have the guy that reviewed us said, well, there's better paranormal podcasts out there. Well, fuck yeah, there are. And there's better scooter ones. And I'm like, I don't know of a better scooter. So anyway, let's get started.
This is Bree at the Red Monkey in Walla Walla, Washington, and you are listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars. Hi, Mark.
Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars, the podcast that blends the modern scooter lifestyle with a twist of the paranormal over a cool cocktail.
Bar reviews, scooter talk, ghost stories. We are an independent group of riders, Vespa riders, in search of classic pubs, dive bars, and haunted taverns. Sometimes we have a drink, sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
But we don't have a disclaimer. It is what it is.
That's right.
Do what you want.
Because we're much better people now. I just been smoking a ton of dope. That's what no, not really. Okay, so here's what I have been doing. I've been reading the verses of the Tao Te Ching, and it's a 2,500-year-old set of, verses, I guess, that roughly translate to the way of integrity.
So you haven't gotten very far based on my observations.
I've done all 81 verses, which
it
delivers a treatise on how to live in the world with goodness and integrity. Not like the guy that reviewed us. I don't know if...
You've got to get over that.
Let it go.
I thought you're living in the now.
Anyway, it's an important kind of wisdom in a world where many people believe such a thing is impossible.
Well, have you picked anything up of quality?
Yeah. Well, here's some upper management advice, 2,500 years old. Then they say, he who speaks does not know. He who knows does not speak.
What does that mean?
Whoa, where are we?
Okay, welcome to episode 44, PubScoot 2020. COVID country.
COVID countries for sure.
Yep, we mask up, we glove up, and we head into the far reaches of Washington, Oregon, and Idaho to visit some of the most beautiful country, classic bars, and really nice people of the upper right, lower corner, and midsections in the adjoining states on our 5-day, 31-bar retreat into oblivion. Of course, we have some scooter news and some stupid fun facts and a whole bunch of other things for us to consume today. So... there you go.
A full show. Nice. Yeah. Okay.
So Bobby Chong blew us off 2 times in a row.
Well, and he's guilty today because the lizard and I both saw him on our way here to the studio.
Oh, he was picking up food to go. He went to the mill, haunted, to pick up some wings, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. And he goes, "Hey, meet me there." And I go, "Well, are you podcasting?" We meet in about 45 minutes.
And this was dinner for his wife who still isn't going to work?
Yeah, I don't think so. No.
Sorry, T-Bone.
So, he was
well, you threatened to leave him on the side of the road for 2 hours on the last podcast.
Yeah, that's true. And he chose not to. So what's going on with you guys? We just recently did... what was the name of our last podcast? It was really
something
fun.
About Sunday ride.
Sunny Sunday ride to Magoo's.
Magoo's, yeah.
Yeah, we talked to Carl there. I hope everybody had a chance to listen to that because that is a haunted, cool bar in Tacoma.
For sure.
What have you been doing since? Lonnie, you went for a little trip yesterday.
I did, yep. Back on, actually on my neighbor's boat. His wife, my wife, headed over to Bainbridge Island.
In the Puget Sound?
Yeah.
Oh.
And really nice marina. Beautiful stop. Walked up, had dinner, or lunch, I should say, a couple drinks, walked around the town, headed back.
What kind of boat?
I don't know the brand. It's kind of a fishing boat. It's made over in...
Is it aluminum or glass?
It is aluminum. It's made in Bremerton. It starts with an A, I think. It's
Alumaweld or something?
Yeah, it's a relatively small company, but really nice boat. He's the the dude in my neighborhood who catches all the fish. He's
a good guy to know. Then
Yeah,
he
he's a
knows
great
all
guy.
the like in our neighborhood, he knows all the special holes.
Did you guys have your poles out while you were boating?
No, not this time.
Also, there was a little tech swarm going around where you got caught breaking and entering.
Well, sort of, yeah. I was just picking up wine at T-Bone and Bobby's garage when they were out of town, so we had to go through. What is it? It's like getting into Fort Knox, 3 codes, 2 passwords, and then we finally got in. And as soon as I did, I happened to see the camera that was pointing at their lovely car in the garage, and so I stuck my face in front of it.
Yeah, that was very funny. It was a funny shot because you looked guilty, and you were holding about $500 worth of wine.
Exactly.
What kind of wine did you pick up? Was that Quilcita?
No, it might have been Mark Ryan. I'm not even sure.
Nice.
Yeah, what is it? The Kershire cat? Or the
Cheshire.
Cheshire cat.
Cheshire
That's
cat.
what he looked like.
A little bit. A little bit. But you, Scout, what'd you do today?
Oh, I'm just living my summer teaching path.
You're living your best life.
Yes, I did do a little hot yoga this morning.
All right. How long?
Needed that after a weekend with you, but it was 45 minutes.
That's a long 105 degrees.
Yeah,
Wow. Were you able to stick your toe into your ear?
but the guy next to me stuck something in my ear. I was afraid to look.
As long as you turned your head quickly.
That was hot yoga.
It's a lot of panting. I know that.
In Pendominomo, Keith was supposed to be here.
Have you heard? Is he back yet?
Well, he was in Spokane about 4 hours ago.
No, so
And
he's not
he
back
hears
yet.
the comment he made. He called me and he said, "Hey, I just drove from Wallace to Spokane. What a miserable long drive. I can't believe we did that on scooters."
Scooters, that was 70 miles.
I-90.
Yeah, it was huge. I miss Wallace, actually. That was a cool little town.
It was a fun stop. Besides the mechanical issue, it was a great town.
All right, my mechanical issue.
Yeah. Well, you had Keith working so hard.
He did. It
2
was
hours.
a nice guy. So I'm still fasting.
I can see that.
I'm melting
You
away.
look famished.
I am. I'm like I said, I'm reading the Tao Te Ching and still getting over that damn review. So I did work today. That was fun. I got to.
Well, you need to keep your mind occupied if you're still thinking about the review.
Well, the thing is, when someone attacks you like that,
Well, yeah, we can see the scars all over your tummy.
You know what? I thought we were good therapy for you, but you need some professional help.
I think I probably do. It's
Yeah, books alone are not cutting it. You need some advice from the top
You need
down.
to have Tai Chi Cheng come right to the house.
okay. Good point.
This is Zoe at Marcy's in Walla Walla, Washington, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters and Bars.
Man, we went to a lot of bars, didn't we?
She did a fast transition there.
She did. She didn't say, "Hey, hi, Mark." Hey, guess what time it's? I want to get through some fun facts before we get into
Love
the
it.
31
Let's do
bars
it.
that we went
Love
to.
some fun facts.
And thanks to UberFacts again on this. And this is one I thought was appropriate because we've met so many nice people that are servers in the industry, bartenders, that sort of thing. And this is important. But when servers put a happy face on the bill, their tips can increase 5 to 20%.
Wow.
Just a happy little face. It's just a moment of caring.
You know what? I probably tip more when I see one, now that I think about it. But if I was a server, I'd do it.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Or a sad face
Well,
if it was the
if
reviewer.
I was serving
Well, just
you.
put it upside down. You'll be fine.
If I was serving you that wanted a martini, half vodka, half gin with a black olive and a green olive.
No
and-
black off.
With
And a heart
twist of
shake.
Something else.
No vermouth.
Exactly.
And only on an empty stomach. Never have a martini after you've eaten. Ever, ever. Always before dinner. Never have. I mean, one's not enough. Three's too many. You know how it goes.
I'm not having a martini anyway.
Okay, Lonnie, why don't you take the next one here?
Well, for our highly intelligent people are more likely to be messy, stay up late, and curse often.
Fuck that news.
You do stay up late and you get up early. How many hours
No,
of sleep do you
don't-
get at night, Mark?
I don't stay up late. I'm not messy, but I do curse.
Right.
It just keeps me on the fringes of intelligence.
You're approaching intelligence.
I'm trending the right way.
Mark, this is for you. Here's one for the history
here's-
teacher.
Well, here. Did you know Abraham Lincoln was assassinated on the same day he created the Secret Service?
That blows.
Missed it by that much.
The same day, like both on August 1st, or he created the Secret Service and bang, he went down.
He created he signed the bill or signed the deal for the Secret Service, and that same day he was assassinated. So they probably hadn't put together their rotation yet, or given him his code name.
They didn't hire people yet.
What do you think his code name was? Beard. Who's got beard?
It was Top Hat.
This happens to me, so I know it's true. An estimated 10 to 35% of the population have a photic sneeze reflex.
What?
So it causes us to sneeze when exposed to like bright light or, like a camera flash or sun. Or if you feel like you need to sneeze and you go run out and you find the light, then you can have a really satisfying sneeze. Right. Sneezing is almost a joyful experience.
It is. I did some sneezing in COVID country.
Yes, you did.
I think I made some people nervous.
You made us all nervous. Do you know why they say bless you when you sneeze?
No way.
They say that your heart stops when you do a big sneeze, that it takes a moment and it stops. And so people say bless you to get you going again, to make sure you're taken care of.
Oh, that would explain why a lot of people, they wait like a half a second, 2 seconds, and then they go, oh, after I sneeze.
Okay, here's a fun fact. King Tut was mummified with an erect penis.
How about that?
Where do you go with that?
I don't know where you go with it.
Okay, who's saying this?
Who wrapped it?
This is...
Cleopatra?
I don't even know if they're in the same century. But that would be, instead of morning wood, would be eternal wood.
Yes, it would. The first blue pill.
Right. And I've been doing this because it's part of my spirituality, making a list of what you are thankful for can actually decrease stress. The Tao Te Ching.
Oh,
by Lao Tzu.
Really?
Right. So...
Even if it's a short list?
Yeah, I think the thing you want to do is approach when bad things happen or you get frustrated because something's happened. Just remember for every bad thing, there's 9 or 10 good things that are going on. And you have to think about those and be grateful for them.
Can you just have it like on a flashcard and pull it out?
Yes.
And read it? Do you have to write the list?
This is my problem is when I do pull it out.
You're not thankful.
It's called a flash.
It's a joke.
But it does, yeah. I think it's important to have a list of things you're thankful for because you tend to forget. And it's like when your thumb gets hit by a hammer, all you can think about is that your thumb hurts.
Right.
But not think about how good the rest of your body feels. Because just think if the hammer hit everything.
Right. You'd be a lot shorter. Did you know a magnitude 15 earthquake would destroy the planet?
Not a fun fact.
No.
Wow.
But what's our record? 9 something?
I think it was in Alaska. It was a 9.2 or something. It was really bad. Good thing there weren't a lot of people in buildings up there.
9.2 in Alaska?
Something like that. Yeah. Many years ago when that was. I just remember. I'm not sure if that's true.
But it knocked down several igloos.
Right.
You know that the last big earthquake we had here, it was April 29th, 1965.
I was just going to say 65.
Didn't we have one in
that was
not that big.
It shook, but it wasn't.
It was 7
big
point
one.
something, and my younger brother was born that day. That's how I remember.
Really?
My mom gave
shook
birth that
something
day.
loose down there.
I guess so. Yeah.
Fred Sanford had the big one.
Almost every episode.
Yeah.
All right. During the Middle Ages, nuns were given an allowance of 6 pints of ale per day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were they on a scooter?
I'm thinking we should take them with us and drink us under the table.
Well, I tell you what, if I lived with a priest, I'd be drinking 6 pints a day.
Well, I think it just all put him in the mood. Wow. All right, Lonnie.
Okay, the last person to be convicted of blasphemy was Charles Smith, a man from Arkansas. He placed a sign in his shop window that said, "Evolution is true, the Bible is a lie, God is a ghost." He spent 3 months in prison. How about that?
Well, this one caught my attention for several reasons, but one of them was that on our recent ride, the one we're talking about today, we started in Walla Walla, Washington, a wine country.
Right.
And it's the home of Charles Smith Winery. Do you think that they named that after him?
Why didn't we ask that when we were there?
Because you wouldn't let me go to a winery, remember? There would be no wine tasting.
You can email or you can text them.
Yeah, it was Jaeger. It was that hot, spicy
Fireball.
So those listeners
Whiskey
of ours that are down under don't realize that Walla Walla is home to our state penitentiary, right?
It is.
Yeah.
And amongst other things, they grow some great asparagus down there, too.
That's what I heard.
Anyway, I wonder if it's coincidence or synchronicity again.
Makes you wonder.
I think it's chapter 82 of Tai Tai Ching.
The Tao Te Ching.
He's only on 81
Hello,
right
this is
now.
Phil from Elgin Station Grill and Bar in Elgin, Oregon, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
I love Phil.
Remember Phil? So I did a post on Instagram. He sent me a note through the messages and said, hey, we're waiting for those pictures. So I found the pictures of us standing in front of the Elgin Station in Elgin, Oregon.
Right. No, listen, when he says us, he means
Right.
him, Phil, and his brother.
Right.
And
Take a picture of us. Take a picture of us.
and that was me. And here, the amazing thing is my last name is Helgen. It's called Elgin. Pretty close.
Yeah.
A lot of people think my name is Elgin,
Right.
but it's Helgen with an H. On top of that, our friend Peter Andrzejewski, who does the seattlebars.org,
Right.
saw my post and said, oh my God, I was there yesterday. And he
You're
lives in
kidding.
Seattle. So
We
he
missed
had
him
been
by a
at that
day?
bar. Yeah, we missed him by a day.
Wow.
And he's been a guest on the podcast. We talked about Jules Mays with him.
Right.
But he knows everything about every bar everywhere. So we're going to have him back. We're going to bring him in on the Zoom. And
So
we're
we've
going to
not
talk
talked
bars.
to Andrew for quite a while.
Peter?
Or Peter, I mean.
Peter Andrzejewski.
Andrzejewski,
Yeah.
So if you remember, you probably don't, Elgin, because you were busy. But when we were, I think, waiting for you to do your thing, I wandered across the street and I was talking to a guy in the park
That's
bench. And he was just we were talking about scooters, and he says, do you like watches? And I said, yeah, I like watches. He goes, you want to buy one for $7? I said, what? He said, I need $7 for a pack of cigarettes. Do you want to buy my watch? I happen to be wearing that watch right now.
Oh, no kidding?
Still keeping good time?
So I pulled out a 20
Yeah.
and I said, listen, if you really want to do this, I'll give you 20 for your watch, or I'll just give you the 20. And he said, no, a deal's a deal. Here's my watch. He took the 20, took off down the street.
He huffed it down the street.
He huffed it down the street.
And bought 2 packs of cigarettes.
I now, honest to God story, a couple days ago, I ordered myself a new watch, a nicer watch than what I'm wearing. And I thought to
A
myself,
$40 watch?
yes, exactly, because I'm kind of tight. And I thought, I'm going to take this watch and I'm going to mail it back to that guy, Phil,
Yeah.
and say, hey, Phil, would you go find the guy that sits at the bench across the street and give him his watch back? So I'm exercising my Tai Chi Chin.
Oh, paying it
Dow to
forward.
chin.
Exactly. I'm looking for a little bit of happiness.
No, good for you.
Did I say
good.
happiness?
That's happy. Remember, you can't
Lonnie,
say
We were roommates
happiness
on the road trip.
without saying penis.
So anyway, that's my little story from that town, whatever it was.
Elgin.
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 So we-
I have one more thing to say about Elgin
Yeah.
and before we even talk about the bar, which we're going to do in a little bit. Was I did that picture and his brother Randy, I called him Patrick in the picture. So I want to put out a public apology for using the wrong name on the post. No wonder they never said.
Well, he jumped in late, though, too. But you could tell they were brothers.
But oh man, they looked exactly alike. And he told us a ghost story. So we're going to play that in a little while. And
But
what?
what about spooky news? Are we
We're not even there yet.
Oh.
We
When's it coming?
okay, be quiet.
This is Bree at the Milton Lodge, Milton, Washington, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
Now we're going to talk about scooter news.
Oh, yeah, I guess I was way off.
Today you've been off completely. What's going on there?
I'm on summer break. I don't even know what day it is.
Did you have your ginger root this morning?
Yeah, I was sharp as a tack in the morning.
I'm thin
fading.
as a rail. It's amazing. So I have kind of an interesting one for scooter news, and I hope I do some good for these guys. This is a movie.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Scooter news!
Okay, let's try it. 1, 2. Scooter news! All right, it's time for... Oh, wait. Let's try it again. What do we do at this point? Wait. It's time for... Scooter news!
Boy, I hope you do some editing.
I'll be doing some editing. So, Scooter the movie...
That sounded like our
Scooter-
transition. Just kind of died.
Yeah, Scooter the movie is supposedly like Joyride meets the Blair Witch Project, and they say it's not the destination that kills you; it's the ride. Let's hear the opening statements to the trailer.
Yeah, today's big challenge is we will be driving to New Orleans. The challenge is you must drive 866 miles from Miami to New Orleans on scooters.
Sounds like our friends that rode the Cannonball.
Absolutely.
I said the Little Mermaid was hot, which she is. Okay.
So yeah, I found this movie trailer on a site called Horror Geek Life. The
I won't
byline,
even ask how you ended up there.
even better, the byline was Jeremy Dick. So thanks, Jeremy. These are your words, not mine. But from writer, director, and producer Matt Wool, Scooter is a road thriller that tells the story of YouTubing gone horribly wrong. With the cast led by Mitch Lenos and Yoshi, the movie is set up, Yoshi Zimmerman.
I thought.
The movie is set up to premiere September 12th in Florida, with other markets and platforms soon to be announced. Now, this was a year ago, so let's give them a break. Described as Joyride meets the Blair Witch Project, the movie follows 3 internet stars embarking on a scooter journey for the sake of going viral, only to witness a murder and become a target of those involved. So the synopsis, it's only a couple of sentences. The 3 amigos are lifelong best friends and partners in crime. They became internet famous after their YouTube channel went viral. Each episode of their antics has them undertaking some ridiculous challenge. From racing cars to tricycles, from the waters of the South Atlantic to the bottom of a swimming pool, there's no challenge too stupid. Like a pack of cats, they always land on their feet. The latest challenge is to ride scooters from Miami to New Orleans. Each person has $1,000 to get a scooter. Sounds again like our guys,
Yes.
right?
The journey.
Slow ride home.
Slow ride home.
Oh, my God. Sorry, guys. To pay for gas.
Not a
food.
lot of silence
So
on
they
this
only-
segment.
They only get $1,000 to buy the scooter, pay for gas, food, and lodging. And after they select their vehicles and pack their bags, it's time to hit the road. They soon find that their 50cc scooters are no match for I-95, no. And they retreat to the side roads to continue their epic 900-mile journey. While the road is smoother, the trip gets a lot bumpier. One of the scooters breaks down. I know that feeling. The friends start to fight, and their troubles reach
we know that feeling.
There you go. Troubles reach a climax when they witness and video a murder. So stuck in rural Florida with 2 working scooters, they have 2 up on one then. They have little hope of escape, and the killer is hot on their trail. So not too highly rated, but not terrible. Not a 5-star, but not a 2.
I could see that.
Somewhere in between, but applicable to our world.
I'd watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish it. I watched the trailer.
We could do the remake of this.
You're
thing.
on the way.
Yeah, we've got some videos shot on our last trip.
Our first one, we had the side-cocked GoPro.
Right, that Mike installed.
Yeah.
Ike. So you can find a scooter on Prime Video and other streaming places, including their own. So congratulations, guys, for making a scooter film that I didn't know about, and we are sharing the good news here on Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
Hey, this is Johnny,
And this is Violet.
and you're at Hamley Western Store in Pendleton, Oregon, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
And they love it.
I remember that Western store.
Yeah, we almost bought boots. Normally we would do spooky news, but because we have a few
We have
ghost
spooky stories
yeah,
instead.
Yeah, and we have a lot of bars to get through. I think it's what we're going to do is put a little transition music on right now.
Okay.
Tell everybody to get ready because we're going to go blowing through some bars right now and take a sip of our drink while we have a moment.
Well, it happens. You're not perfect.
Quite a sip.
That wasn't a very fast transition.
That's a good drink, though.
All right, so we just finished a 540-mile ride. We hauled our scooters from the Tacoma area of Washington to the Walla Walla area, and we parked them at
Katie's house.
who had a beautiful place in the vineyards.
Yeah, Katie and her husband.
Yeah, in the vineyards near what winery were you?
Yeah, I'm not a wine guy.
That is Corliss's
Corliss.
winery.
Corliss.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's not Duche.
something like that.
Round J.
Well, they had several of them, but Corliss was one of them,
Yeah.
right? And we were invited to go up there and have a sip of wine, and we couldn't because you said we can't go have wine on
And
this
we
trip.
didn't, and I'm
We're
so
in some
proud
of the
of
best
you.
wine country ever.
And she came out pregnant as can be, and sitting in the hot sun.
Helped us get our scooters
Making sure
situated.
to tell them where to
and all.
park it. And
Yeah, that was really
was
nice.
nice.
But we had stopped on the way into town in Touche.
Touche. Well, they call it Touchet or something like that.
Touchet, I think.
We called it Touche.
We stopped at the Seed House Saloon.
I love that little bar.
It was 100 degrees.
That was a bitch, and we couldn't go in. It was not
Well,
AC.
we went inside, but we had to drink it. We drank out on the porch. We had a beer after our long drive, and we met Nikki, who was the owner there. And it was an old building, and it was the oldest billiard lounge in the state, right?
Yep.
1936, and she says haunted, obviously haunted, and for sale.
Well, and they had
She pulled the floorboards
prohibition,
up.
yeah.
And they showed us down in the basement where they would sneak down there. But it was just a dirt basement, but they hear things down there.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. The Seed House, if you get a chance to go there.
And it's just before you hit Walla Walla.
Yes.
On the outskirts.
Yep.
Right there.
From there, we grabbed a bite to eat at the Red Monkey, which didn't have a lot of character.
Yeah.
It had
But-
AC, though. I like that.
Yeah, it was good. And Bree was there. She did a transition, and she opened up the show.
She was
and she
nice,
was great.
yeah.
And what was your impression
It was
of that,
okay.
Lonnie?
It was a cross between a nice place and a Cracker Barrel. We had a bar and we had a couple drinks.
Yeah, it was
all
in
right.
downtown Walla Walla. It was nice. I mean, nothing wrong with it. It
Almost
just
a
wasn't an
little-
old classic bar.
Yeah, almost a little too clean, too new.
Yeah. You know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Then we went and checked into the Finch to our hotel, which Mike was with us, had led
Well,
the
it's gotta
charge.
be Mike.
on-
He was there start to
He
finish.
did. He did the whole thing, and he was in charge of having that whole place remodeled. He works for a company that does resorts and hotels and remodels them. He's oversees the management of all the crews that do that, and so he got us into the Finch. We each had our own room.
Yeah.
That was nice.
We're spoiled.
Yeah, that's the way. It should have been that way every night.
It wasn't that way at the Whiskey Inn.
That was a cool place, though. That was nice.
It was really nice.
Pull that off.
And from there, we decided to take a little ride before dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And we rode Mike
Right down Main Street.
because Mike, it was his town at that point, and he said, "I know of a place in Milton Freewater called Kelly's." Kelly's was. We took a route that was a 4-lane highway, so we were all a little tense. It
You
was
seem to
mostly,
be a little agitated.
I go, "Is this a back road, Mike?" Well, yeah, there's no freeway. It's not a freeway, but it was nice. We had a nice drink with Ruby.
Yeah. It's a nice bar. And she had a Walla Walla onion.
She did, but Keith
Keith
didn't
didn't
take
get a picture.
We were doing a scavenger hunt, right?
He was, yeah. And
He was doing it on his own
Well,
and having
yeah, we
people
were-
sign his helmet, right?
He got requests going into it
All
to
kinds
get
of.
different things. He got most of them.
Well, what's really sad, he's not here to talk about it.
Right.
Huh.
And he was invited too.
He's probably sitting right outside in your driveway waiting to come in.
He might be, but I doubt
Oh,
it.
the on air sign is probably on.
It isn't. He didn't turn it on. So we came back. When we started to hit the little downtown core area, we hit a couple of bars. The Fat Cat was one of them, right?
Yep.
The Stone Hut.
Stone Hut?
Stone Hut Bar and Grill, the Fat Cat. We did all those. You remember the different places we went to, Mark? How's your memory?
Well, I know we had whiskey in our room.
No. This is when we went out before dinner.
Was the Fat Cat the place that we came back and sat outside and you were still a little bit?
I was a little
fired
grouchy.
up?
Oh, yeah,
I was a
yeah,
little
yeah.
grouchy.
Yeah.
Because somebody
now
had
it
some
comes back
tater
to you.
tots.
Oh, and a hot
And
dog.
just absolutely chapped your ass.
We don't want to go there.
Oh, I'll go there. I will go there.
You sure went there that night.
We ended up having dinner at Marcy's, and
Yes.
and Zoe was our helper,
Very nice.
our server. And then we all came back and had did some map time planning, had a
Following
whiskey
day.
in the rooms, and Bob and Mike went to bed. And we hit the town again. There wasn't an open bar to be found except where we
Marcy's.
had dinner. We went back to Marcy's, and Zoe said, "Well, you guys are back." But the place was completely different.
Well, we sat in a different area.
We sat in a different area, but it was dark, and all of a sudden it was like industry night. All
Yeah,
the
it got
locals
busy.
were
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and it was really cool. We got up in the morning. What did we do? We were riding to Pullman.
Yeah, we got our shit together and we took off.
Yeah. We had
Then we pulled into a tiny little town of
Pomeroy.
Pomeroy.
Was that Idaho? Or was Pomeroy Washington?
That's Washington.
Yeah, Washington.
We got some good shots. Had some reasonably nice roads. We went to Tanya's place, Tanya's Cafe, and Tanya served us.
She served us. She cooked. She welcomed. She came to open.
She opened early because we
were waiting.
We
Somebody
ran
called
into
her.
one of her friends who said, "Yeah, I'll call her." And she opened early and got her grill going for us. And and we were pleasantly surprised to see she had a full bar.
Yes, absolutely wonderful.
And so I had a Caesar.
Nothing makes me happier than a full bar at 9 a.m.
Yeah, it was a little later than
Okay,
that.
9:20.
But she cooked us a nice meal. Thank you, Tanya. And then proceeded to tell us that it was a haunted place.
Yeah.
And it's for sale.
Yeah, she's selling that too.
Yeah, right. 8 years she'd been there, and she
I don't know.
decided she wants to move back to the big city.
Well, you lose 190 pounds, you want to cat around a little bit in the big town.
I think she had that on her mind. And then we took a beautiful drive over the mountains and on our way to Clarkston.
Clarkston, yep.
And by the Snake River, and got some pictures, and we drove and made a stop or two just on the side of the road and ended up at Rooster's Landing in Clarkston.
Nice. I like that place.
That was where Marilyn served
maybe
us.
I like Marilyn.
Yeah, she was
very
really nice,
yeah.
and she gave us a lot of good information, about Pullman, about Lewiston, about Clarkston. Right. I didn't know that Lewiston and Clarkston were named after Lewis and Clark.
Well,
that they camped there. It was a historic area.
I didn't either. I mean, there's only one history teacher in the crowd.
Yeah, and he didn't have to tell. I had to figure it out on my own.
I thought it was pretty self-evident.
These things are self-evident. That's from the Constitution.
Right. That's what they were talking about. Yeah, she told us where to go the next day in Lewiston because we were going to come back through Lewiston. She gave us some stops.
So we went from Roosters straight to Shooters?
In Lewiston.
We did?
Yeah. Good. Well, we needed another stop between.
Oh, we parked and walked around and then got back on and found.
Because Shooters maybe wasn't open when we first got there? Or
No, it was.
We
open.
went to downtown.
We went to that downtown core, right?
Whatever bar we tried was closed.
Oh, that's right.
And
So
we
then
looked
went
up and
back.
said, hey, here's a bar
Shooters
that's
is
open,
open,
Shooters. So we drove another 3/4 of a mile. Right. It was on the right-hand side, and we actually were pleasantly surprised. A very big, clean sports bar, older, where Steve was our bartender. Good
Sleeve, yeah.
Or Sleeve, whatever we want to call him.
It turned out to be a gem of a stop.
Yeah, we had Ashley and Linnell.
Yes.
So why don't you give us your impression of the bar?
Well, I mean, it's a little unassuming going in.
Yeah, and I never had a clue it was so big, right?
No, but and darts are very popular in that town.
Well, I think the ghost was George, and he liked to play darts, and their number one machine turns on by itself like someone's playing darts.
But they've got like 12 dart machines, all electronic with
right.
scoreboards up top and tournaments weekly or whatever they've got, leagues.
So we started kind of getting to know some of the people that were sitting at the bar there, and we got to sit at a bar.
We sat at a bar.
It's phase 4.
You found the 2 other people that were sitting in the bar.
Right.
Which happened to be waiting for their shift.
They were. Well, one was the manager, Ashley, and the other, Linnell, was a worker, 5 o'clock bartender who was going to take over for Steve.
Right. And Steve was very pleasant.
It was great. But I started asking him about the ghost and that sort of thing, and actually Linnell agreed to sit down and have a little conversation, and then Ashley jumped in. So if you have a second, let's hear what they had to say about Shooters in Lewiston. Okay, I'm at Shooters in Lewiston, Idaho, right?
Yes.
And I'm with Linnell.
Yes.
And Linnell is a patron. Do you work there?
A bartender.
And a bartender. Do you hear?
Yep.
Here at Shooters, but you're off right now.
Yeah, I work at 5.
Okay.
So I'm just waiting to come to work.
You have a local ghost in the bar named George.
Yes.
And here's one that doesn't happen very often. You've seen him.
Yes.
All right, tell us the story.
Well, it's not a very cool story, but I used to be the opening bartender instead of the closing bartender. And like all this crazy shit would happen. Like we'd hear somebody playing darts, the dartboard would go off, you could tell somebody was throwing, and I'd be the only one in here. Our ice machine is like in the back corner. One day I walked around there, he was standing right there.
You saw him?
Yeah, I was putting away glasses one day, opening by myself. Saw him standing in the back corner of the cooler.
What do you look like?
It was just kind of like a shadow.
Dark mass.
Shadow spirit,
Yeah.
like shadow figure.
But you could definitely
But
see
it was
it.
definitely a guy standing there.
Tall, short?
Tall, yep.
Hat on?
No. And then one time I was closing, this is probably my scariest story I have about him. And it was just me and one other girl, and all of a sudden we started hearing like doors opening and closing, somebody walking around. We heard a bunch of banging coming from the ceiling, couldn't figure out what it was. So I grabbed the fruit knife from behind the bar because I thought I could kill. Yeah, that's all.
Well, they're a big knife and they're sharp.
Yeah, well, it's not even a big knife. It's like a paring knife. So I grab it and I check out the whole entire bar. There's nobody in here.
You have your deadbolt story too?
Oh, yeah, he likes to do that a lot. And there was nobody in here. And then I heard my name being called and ran out the door because I was like, I'll just take care of everything.
Was he
in the morning.
whispering or saying it?
He was saying it. I could hear
Did he
it.
have an
like
attitude
audibly.
about it?
No, just kind of fucking with me like he normally does. So then our office door, when we close at night, we lock it from the inside, but it's like it has a deadbolt and a bottom lock. One night I was closing, I got everything done, and I go out the front door to leave, and I look back and I was like, something looks really strange, like there's something wrong. And I was like, why is the office light on? Like, that's the last thing I do before I leave for the night, or before I lock the office doors. So I come back in, and I go to unlock the office door. Well, somehow, the deadbolt can only be locked from the inside. The deadbolt was locked. And so I could unlock it to get back into the office to turn out the office light. Yeah, but I don't know how the deadbolt got turned, and I don't know how the office light came back on by itself.
Because we don't lock the deadbolt when we lock the office.
We never lock the deadbolt. So...
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But Ashley has a pretty good story too. So
Well, Ashley,
turn it over to her.
All right. I need to
Here.
slide this, or have you slide down. This is Ashley.
Yep.
You work here too?
Yep. So you'll have to remember the layout of the bar though too. So I was closing, finished up my closing stuff, and there's a door right around that corner over there that has like a wedge in it. It always stays open. I go into the office to do my stuff, everything's closed down. And I come back out, and it's super dark in here, and I'm like, what's wrong? Because that light always stays on too. That door was closed, and the wedge from the door was clear around the corner over there, and I was the only person in the bar.
Wow.
So there's no way I could have kicked it that far, because when I came out from shutting off...
Kicked it that's
No, I'm saying like I
around
could
the corner
around
too.
the corner.
Yeah.
So and when I come out of there, I shut the lights off, come out, just go straight back to the office. So there's no way I would have kicked it.
Yeah.
All the way around
Over
the
and
corner.
over and over again.
And it's
I'm going to tell you, that's 30 yards.
Yeah.
It's a long way.
And it's crazy too. Like if you're here by yourself is usually the weirdest. Like if you go to the kitchen or you go to the bathroom and you know there's absolutely no possible way that anybody could be in here. I almost feel like he can change his voice too, because I'll hear my name called a certain way, the way people call it, and come back out and be like, oh, I think Lisa's here, and then I come out and nobody's here.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So George is a bit of a trickster.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's listening to this right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Oh, probably.
So
I'm
George,
sure.
if you
Yeah.
want,
And we always tell him all the time. We tell him all the time, we have no problem with you, you're fine to stay. Or you'll, like even the outside lights, we have 2 switches for the outside lights. You'll shut them off and come back out, and you always double check them because sometimes they'll be back on.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So we're at Shooters. We're in Lewiston, Idaho, and it's a haunted place. And I've got stickers for you guys.
Aw,
Anyway,
thanks.
so thank you. That was
Yeah,
great.
of course, yeah.
And hopefully George spoke into this, and we got a little EVP or something.
Oh, that'd be cool.
While we were
That'd
talking.
be way cool.
Yeah.
George didn't speak.
That Jorge.
That was our first day, first start. Great story, warm, friendly people, and it was. We were thinking we were off to a huge
the future
rumbling
looked very
start.
bright.
Yeah, and I think I'm just going to finish this because we went back to Shooters the next morning.
Right.
I don't know if you remember, but we went from there and we went off and did our thing. Went to Pullman, spent the night, and I received an email from Ashley saying, hey, I've got some more information. I talked to the owner. If you guys are back this way tomorrow, and by happenstance, we were going back through Lewiston. Right. We went down the Spiral Highway. That was really cool, or they call the Lewiston Grade. But we went back because we're going to go to the Alibi, which was part of the same complex and also known to be haunted. She sent me her phone number to text her. Text if you're in the area. So I did. She goes, okay, I'm at the bar. It was 10 in the morning. Right. I'll leave the door unlocked. And when you guys are done at the Alibi, the back door, right. And so I was pretty excited about that. So we went to the Alibi, which was fine. Keith got a lot of things for a scavenger hunt there.
Right. But the thing I recognized from the Alibi was it's a smoking bar.
It was.
Yeah, it was a smoky bar. Yeah, it was.
You could smoke in there.
But you got to have a different bar for different things. And since we weren't smokers, we had our drink, and the bartender took good care of Keith because she had an onion, she had a golf pencil, she had
$2 bill,
$2 bill, things he needed for his helmet,
and a pack of Pall Malls.
So we went back in, and I'll set this up. Because we talked about George the day before, I took my Oculus, my voice generator of...
Don't you have about 3 letters and a number to go with that? Your GRL 6000
the SB7
You're the
Spirit
grip.
Box.
You should know all that shit.
Anyway, and I walked back into the areas that they talked about, and 2 words came up. One came up that said engineer, and the other word came up and said Vivian. And so I went back to Ashley, and I said, does this mean anything to you? Vivian or engineer? And she goes, no, but I'll do some more digging. She sent me that email that night and said, I have some more information for you. And so we came back because we were going through town anyway, and we met with her. And this is the one of the rare times you get to do a follow-up.
That quickly, yeah.
That quickly. So here is Ashley telling us the next day what she found out.
All
right, we're going to start over, Ashley. So we yesterday collected 2 words when we walked through your haunted bar, right? Mm-hmm. One of them was engineer, and one of them was Vivian.
Yes.
You had a conversation with the owner, and tell us what he said.
He said that the guy that owned it before, Dickamore, he built everything in this area. The bar, the Shooter's Bar, Alibi Sports Edition, where the paint store is at now. And when he died, he had 2 daughters, Catherine and Vivian. Catherine wanted to sell, but Vivian didn't want to, but agreed to sell it to like Zane's family because she didn't think that they would survive past like 2 years and she'd be able to buy it back.
Wow. And so when those words came up, Vivian and engineer, we were actually talking about the history and people involved in this bar that had a strong emotional connection. Wow, thank you so much.
Yeah, I thought that was cool because when I told him that, he was like, yeah, that like all makes sense.
Yeah, that is wonderful. And we don't usually get to come back around and fill in the blanks on a story like that.
No, and the other thing, we never come to a bar and not have a drink.
Right.
And we are without
drink.
drink.
Would make us a drink.
Do you guys want a drink?
Absolutely.
Hey, there we go.
Are we riding the scooter?
Yeah, we're riding scooters. So they were great. They were accommodating.
Ashley was awesome.
We came through, and she actually had us initial our sticker
That's
for
right.
their wall, which was kind of fun. So thanks, you guys. The other word that came up when we were there, and after I'd spoken with her, is they were closed. Closed basically. They were waiting to open. But
Intruder.
I went back there, and she was by herself, and I got the word intruder on my phone.
Oh,
which
that's
was
right.
Pretty
I wonder
wild.
if the intruder was Vivian Dickamore.
I think I was the intruder walking around back there when they weren't open. So it was really, really a cool experience to go to that bar.
It was fun.
So let's take a moment, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back.
That was
a quick moment.
Anticlimactic. Are we going to talk about Hogan's?
It's time to talk about Hogan's, I think.
Hogan?
If you recall, that was Hogan's Tavern and Sporting Goods. Was it
I
not?
think it was originally a sporting goods
then,
store,
yeah.
so it was
The sign
Hogan's
said,
Sporting Goods. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool sign.
Great sign. Don't know what the pole was for. They had some big erect rod.
That's right. There's like a
sticking
mast
straight up
out
out of
front.
nowhere.
Yeah, but remember those fellas that were there? when
You
we
talk
first
about
walked in?
locals. They had The absolute. There was 3 or 4 of them too. It wasn't just 1 or 2. They had a couple different tables going.
And they looked us up one side and down the other.
They had the hair, the hat, the look.
Yeah, they were turned out to be really nice fellas. That was a fun time.
Which is pretty typical. And then Hope was nice. Hope was the bartender.
You remember that?
The long black dress.
Oh yeah,
swooping.
She was great, and Hope took great care of us. And then Jordan was in the kitchen, and he had experienced some real drama. Right. And unfortunately, as what happens in many ghost hunts and recordings, his disappeared. His recording is nowhere to be found, and I know I had it, and it is gone. And
AWOL?
And he talked a lot, and we learned about this both in Clarkston and Lewiston. They talked a lot about the tunnels that were underneath that city, and they kept the Chinese immigrants down there and wouldn't allow them to walk in the streets, and they had to work their way around down below. And then Evelyn, the ghost that lived at Hogan's, had lived down there as well. So there was some really great stories, and they brought it up at Shooters too, and people talk about. There's even tours there. So Jordan told this great story. He lived in a house that he said was bricked up against one of the tunnels and had a lot of experience. So I'm going to try to get in touch with him.
So it wasn't just the bar. He had his own personal.
He had his own personal, but he only lived 2 blocks away from the bar. So they think that these entities, these whatever, they move around through those tunnels down there. But the Hogan's has one specific ghost, and it's a woman named Evelyn.
But you still have Hope's story?
I have hopes, and I have high hopes of playing it.
I hope we can hear it at some point.
I wonder if Vivian Dickamore was down in that tunnel.
Well, Vivian was in another town across the water. Right. I don't think the tunnels went under the water. Remember, Lewis and Clark. Clarkston and Lewiston.
2 different people.
But you have to go over the Blue Bridge, if you remember that.
That's right.
But let's listen to Hope's story. Hopefully I can get in touch with Jordan, and we'll talk a little bit more about other people we want to follow up with. So here's Hope at Hogan's in Clarkston.
So I'm with Hope, and you are the bartender here at
Hogan's Pub.
Hogan's Pub in Clarkston, Washington.
Yep.
And this is a classic, cool place.
Yep.
We love it. Beautiful neon out front. Does it work?
No, the big sign doesn't work anymore.
We need to get that fixed up. Is this place for sale? I'd like to buy it.
Our owner actually bought it last year.
Cool.
Or in 2018.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, but it's been around since the late 30s, I want to say.
We got told it's haunted.
Mm-hmm.
And that
there's some mysterious things that have happened, for sure.
Can you tell us what's happened for you?
Yeah, so in my experience, I open here. I get here at like 3:30. And generally, everything is ready to go. We have a guy that comes in and helps set everything up, and came in one day and everything was just kind of weird, like off. Things weren't in the places they were supposed to be, and I was like, well, maybe Dave just misplaced some things, whatever. And I'm turning the lights on, and that silver sign up there that says Hogan's just started spinning. Wow. And it spins. You can knock it and it'll move around, but it just started going on its own, and I looked up and was like, what the shit? And it was just going, and I looked down, and then all of a sudden I heard a loud crash, and a bunch of our milk crates fell down the stairs.
So there's a basement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And Evelyn's room is down there too.
So Evelyn, we think, is the ghost.
Yep.
All right, so Evelyn, if you're here, you can speak into this phone, or you can make that sign flip around a little bit. That would be great.
It'd be spooky.
Wouldn't that?
It's more so, I want to say, like around closing time and stuff is when the real freaky things happen.
Wow, it's a great bar.
Yeah,
I like everything about it.
Yep, it is a real solid place.
So things have happened to Parker? No, Jordan in the back.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we have lots of different stories from customers, our employees that have worked here over the years, and it happens really randomly. You never really expect it, and I don't think she's mean or anything.
No, it
I think
doesn't
she just
feel
wants
like that
to make
at all.
herself known. And
why was it her room downstairs? How do we know that?
I'm not sure the history on that
but
story.
But she lived down there and then would hang out in the bar?
Yeah, there's like a little basement corner down there where we keep all of our...
Is that Jordan right there?
Uh-huh.
Do you think he'd come
all of our
down
Halloween decorations? Maybe. Hey, Jordan.
Hey, Jordan, sorry. The ghost wiped out your recording, but we're going to track you down and we're going to get your stories of the underground and what happened there. But and thank you for taking the time to do that. We went to a lot of more bars that night.
Well put.
We ended up in Pullman, stayed at the Red Rooftop.
Hilltop.
The Hilltop
Yeah.
Red Roof place.
It had a pool that was open.
It had a
up.
pool.
So what was amazing to me about that place is when I opened my curtains and looked out, there was an old graveyard.
I had to tell you, and then you got absolutely excited about the post bar run.
Yeah.
To take a little scamp in the cemetery.
So we look out our window, and it's an old 1800s cemetery out there, and it was big.
Yeah.
And
Well, it used to be bigger, and then they dozed it and built a hotel.
they didn't move the bodies. So yeah, that was really cool, and we did a late night ghost.
Let's
hunt
hold off
out
on
there.
that.
Yeah, well,
Let's
I
talk
mean,
about that
we're going to
later.
wrap up Pullman here in part 1 of our ride, and what, you don't want to talk about that?
I'm not ready for the cemetery quite yet.
I
I think we need Keith or Bobby Chong, or preferably both, because they were with us.
Where was I?
You didn't.
You were
right.
You were getting
I
ready
was
back in the
sound
room,
asleep.
Lizard.
Taking a little nap. You and Ike. Oh, Mike. We gotta say Mike now.
Yep.
So yeah, we had we finished the night at Rico's, and we had kind of it was a beautiful bar.
Great
It was
bar.
like a library.
Terrible service.
Yeah, unfortunately, rarely will we say something like that, but they did
That was
not have
shitty.
anybody working there that.
No, there was
that,
4 or 5 people working, not very crowded, and it took 15 minutes for us to even order a drink.
And then another
And then-
15 to make it because they had to look it up.
And there was 4 of us.
They had to look it up.
Well,
on the,
that's
on the
because
computer.
Keith ordered a Mark
Manhattan.
Helgen drink.
A Manhattan. A special Manhattan. But beautiful bar, and everything else was pretty much closed. Though we did have dinner at my office. It was recommended by the guys at Shooters.
Right.
And that was good.
It was a good
That
dinner.
was good. She took good care of us at
But
my
never
office.
made it to the world famous Coug.
It was closed.
Right.
And it was
an
Stella that took care of us at my office.
Right.
We're pretty enthused about this ride. It was
a
pretty
great
good.
It was
Yeah.
a great ride.
It
checked all the boxes.
Many of them. In fact, I want to talk a little bit about one place that checked every box.
Easy.
Whoa.
Save it for the next one.
But I just want to say that it includes a spontaneously burning Bible.
Combustibility.
Yikes.
So
you were on fire that night too.
Well, you know me, thin as a rail.
You're like a cat.
Thanks for putting up with us for this part 1 of the COVID ride of PubScoot 2020. Lonzo, anything you want to add?
Well, I just like to call it, like I said the other day, COVID-19 20.
That's a really great name. And we'll be back in a week with the rest of the ride.
Part 2.
Part 2. And thanks to our listeners. Thanks to Weeknights for the original music.
Well, thank you for the thank you list. Remember, we got to be thankful.
That's right. The Dao De Ching. If anybody wants more information
And
on
here
that.
you go. Keep talking. Keep talking.
I will let you.
You're not very bright, are you?
All right. This stupid podcast. Oh, my God.
I'm
Thank
listening
you.
to fun
Thank
facts.
you. Copyright 2020 by Chasing Ghosts on scooters in bars.
He was checking out.